Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Repair Shop of Tomorrow podcast. My name is Jaron Kleber, coming to you live from the Repair Shop of Tomorrow podcast studio in Atlanta, Georgia. And today I am joined by a couple guests that I will bring on camera here. Rory, Sarah, hello, how are you?
Good. Hi. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
We're doing great. So, look, today, the episode we're going to put out here is really how Repair Shop of Tomorrow helped Rory and Sarah and Burke View Garage achieve some really successful growth over the last 12 to 18 months that they've been working with Repair Shop of Tomorrow. So I'm going to kind of set the table a little bit. So Rory and Sarah are the owners of Burke View Garage in, I'll probably butcher this. Is it Lindenville? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, nailed it.
Exactly.
Lindenville, Vermont.
Well done.
People always butcher my name, Jared, Jason, Jaron.
Oh, yeah. Oh, ours too. Trust me. I'm Tara.
Yeah.
Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm used to I'm used to hearing things not correctly. So no, so they took over the shop in 2021. They are a proud Napa Auto Care Center, and recently they are the presidents of their newly formed Napa Business Development Group for their area. And if you haven't had a chance to really listen or learn about what the business development groups can do for you as a Napa Auto Care Center, we actually in January and February of this year on this podcast, we talked all about how to start a BDG and also the programs that Repair Shop of Tomorrow has built specifically for Napa BDG. So if you want to check that out, if you're listening, you're watching, and the BDG is something that you're interested in starting or maybe adding some value to your existing BDG, if you go to YouTube and you type in Repair Shop of Tomorrow, you can subscribe to our channel, and we have those podcasts on there for you. And of course, you can also go to our website, repairshopoftomorrow.com, and learn all about the BDG program. So Sarah and Rory, I really appreciate you guys being here with me today. Why don't you just kind of give our listeners, viewers, a little bit of your guys' backstory, kind of how you guys came into shop ownership at Burke View Garage.
Okay.
Well, I guess I actually rented the house next to the shop from the owner that we bought it from. So all through school, I worked here part-time.
Yep.
You literally bought the house so you could have a job, right? Or rent the house.
No. I literally had no interest. No. I had just all through high school had worked at where I grew up in Southern New Hampshire. I'd worked at the garage in the town that I grew up in. Just as a part-time job between sports. And then when I went to college, my roommate had already been living in the house for a while and knew the landlord. And he's like, "Hey, Larry, you need some help. You should hire Rory." So I just started working like 10 to 20 hours a week for a while. And not really during baseball season, but the rest of the time I would. And so I just, so I was here for all through school. Yeah. And then probably a year after I graduated. And we moved back from here to Southern New Hampshire for like 4 years, where we were from when we had our first son.
Yeah, we had some babies and moved back home.
Yeah. And
what most people do.
Grandma and grandpa, right? You gotta
absolutely
make sure those grandma and grandpa have those grandbabies close by.
That's right.
Yeah. And then Sarah can tell you how we ended up back here 4.5 or 5 years after that. Would have been 2014, I think, that we came back here.
Yeah, it was July. I did sales and marketing, and eventually made it to general manager of some hotels up here. And they called me back and asked me to come back and head the sales department again. And we were not struggling, but not doing well money-wise. And I was like, well, you know what? It's going to pay a lot better than we're making now. So we moved back up here. He got the job.
And I said, "Hey, Larry."
Yeah.
And before I even said anything, he said, "Yep, you can start next week."
Yep.
There you go.
We have a house for you. And we rented another house from them that we own now.
Yep.
And now my parents live next door in the house that we rented in college, which is kind of cool. and then you worked here.
Yeah. So
right when we came back.
Yep.
And then they asked us if we were interested in possibly purchasing the shop because they were ready to retire. That was in like 2019, 2018, somewhere
18 or 19, something like that. And then it took a few years to get it worked out.
Yeah, but I left my job at the hotel to be here.
Yep.
So that the customers would know me and just the transition would hopefully be better. Because in Vermont, we all get along really well and we're friendly, but change is not
people don't like change.
Yeah. So I tried to like ease in, and so it wasn't like this big, massive change. And then we bought it from them
May
14,
2021.
Yeah.
May 14th, 2021. All right. So we're coming up next month. Let's see, it's the 16th. Yeah. So we're coming up on 3 years.
Yeah.
And we do our customer appreciation that time now every year. So.
Very cool. So when 18, 19, Sarah, when you kind of put yourself into the business and Rory, you were working, did you guys have a succession plan set up with the owner? Was 2021 always the date, or were you guys just kind of working? And it was going to happen.
Yeah. It didn't happen as quickly as either party thought it was going to.
Correct. I think they thought they were ready to retire fully
earlier than they were quite ready, but it all worked out.
It did. We figured it out.
Yeah. It's all worked out, and it's still a very good relationship to this day.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, we of course, one of the things at Repair Shop Tomorrow that we get heavily involved with a lot of clients and prospective clients is I always use sports analogies, right? When those shop owners are in the fourth quarter of their career, right? Mm-hmm. What does that look like? Because unfortunately, a lot of times when we look at their business and we do the numbers, right? If the business isn't healthy, right, from a financial standpoint, it makes it really hard, obviously, to attract a buyer who has to go to the bank and put 20% down and get a loan, right? And so, a lot of times we'll start to work with clients in the later part of their career, right, to really try to dial in those last 2 to 3 years so that they have a business that is, profitable and worth selling. Because the thing that bothers me a lot is when I see great shop owners, people in our industry, they've been in it for 30, 40 years, and, they hit 65 years old and they say, I'm done. I'm walking away. Right. And, that to me is something that, I always struggle with, right? Because you work your whole life building a business. Obviously, you want some sort of exit strategy and some sort of retirement. And so,
for sure.
And a lot of times that is finding that key person in the business, right? Setting up that succession plan, getting them the finances that they need to go put that money down so that both parties can, have a successful transaction, right? So
for sure. And I think that's why it worked here, just because we already were here. He had been here a long time, so we could see the potential in the business, because to be fully honest, it wasn't run the greatest towards the end. Perhaps it could have just been run a little smoother. And I don't know if it was somebody outside of the business, if it would have been as attractive as it was to us, because we were in it and we knew the potential of the place. So I think they probably could have really benefited from something that what you were just talking about, if they didn't have us.
We couldn't have afforded it if they'd hired you before.
Correct.
Well, don't scare people away. That is a challenge, right? When you make a business profitable,
for sure.
It does increase that. It does increase that selling price.
Somebody would have for sure. Wouldn't have been us.
Oh, wait. Yeah, no. And I think what I was just trying to say was I think it worked out for us and for them, just because we knew we were in it. We knew the solid customer base.
It wasn't really a big risk.
Here. No, because we were like, we know that it's there. We just have to get there. Yeah. And that's where
I already knew all 1,200 customers.
So. Right. And that's where you guys came in, was the getting it to where we saw that it could be.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. So 2021, you purchased a shop. So how and when did you get introduced to Repair Shop Tomorrow? And how did you end up ultimately deciding that, working with Repair Shop of Tomorrow was going to be a good fit for your business?
Yeah, it was at the Napa Expo in Vegas. Was it 2022?
2022, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, I thought so. And then he was like, I don't think that's right. I'm like, no,
I couldn't remember if it was 21 or 22.
Because we had barely been owners for
so just over a year.
Yeah.
And we went it was supposed to be Napa Expo 2020. Right. And then COVID hit, right? And so then
which,
it
again, worked out for us.
Yeah.
Worked out for us. Yeah, we're fine. But we we decided to do the expo. We took he's now our GM. He was just one of our techs then, and we took him with us. And I will gladly admit that I'm a giant nerd, and I will go right for like the webinars and the classes, and I like all the notes and I like the learning. And I saw all the things that we could sign up for, and Repair Shop was one of them. And we just,
I was like, what is this Repair Shop of Tomorrow thing?
Yeah, the guys are looking at it.
Is it like futuristic diagnostics, or like what are we talking about here?
I think the description was good, but it was one of those where they're like, you just sign up for the things that you think will be interesting. And I was like, mint. So I just went through everything. Repair Shop, actually, to be fully honest, was one of the first ones I picked.
Yeah.
And then we went to the show, and I
watched you speak.
Yeah, it was you. You did a great job. I always say, actually, you were the reason why we decided.
Why we went to the booth afterwards.
If it was a terrible presentation, it wouldn't have worked out. So you did a great job.
Well, I'm hopefully my boss and other board members are listeing to this. Okay, so
we'll tell them too. Yeah, don't worry.
Okay. Dave knows.
Yeah, I'll message them. But no, it was we don't have a joke. The guys have a joke here that I like to drink the Kool-Aid. I call it the Kool-Aid when I get this big this great idea, and I'm like, dude, we're in, let's go. And usually they have to like go, slow down, or they're a little bit freaked out at first. And after your presentation, I was sold pretty quick. And then I was like, all right, let's go to the booth, because you invited everybody to the booth to meet the people. Sure. And I think honestly what sold him and Mike was the fact that when we went to the booth, it was other people that are actually using you that are now coaches, which is super cool, but they're also shop owners, which is huge, because we were talking to people like us, not just some sales gimmicky thing. No. It was actually, I think we talked to Roy.
I'm pretty sure
we met Roy there, which is really cool, because that's who we ended up with. But it was just one of those, it just made sense. And with the expo too, to be fully honest, you had offered like a show special as far as the percentage rebate that you get back from Napa. And I did the math while I was sitting there, and I'm like, guys, it pays for itself. We don't actually have to worry about it, because once our percentage increased, we do so much sales with Napa that it literally paid for it.
Yeah, pretty much does.
So I was like, let's give it a shot for 12 months. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I am very glad we did it.
Yeah.
So
life changing.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it is.
Well, first of all, I and everyone at Repair Shop Tomorrow appreciates having the opportunity to work with amazing people like yourselves. Being the sales guy that does the presentations, that has a lot of calls with prospective clients, right? One of the things that I think it's really important. So if anyone's listening to this and coaching is something that, you've thought about before, right? Obviously, we'd love for you to schedule time with us to talk about what we can do. But, whatever it is that you're looking for, I believe coaching is great, right? But make sure you're engaging with people that are also in the program, right?
Yeah,
like you said,
absolutely.
You came to the booth, you saw clients of ours that were hanging around the booth, our coaches, your coach, Roy Foster, amazing individual, his wife, Jackie, their whole family. Roy started in the program in 2019. He was using another coaching company. He was successful, but he knew that there was more. And we've now been able to work with Roy. And like you said, now Roy is a coach for Repair Shop of Tomorrow. But he's also still a client, right? And Dave, trains Roy's team and his people, right? And, Roy doesn't have to be involved in the business on a day-to-day level like he was maybe, 5-10 years ago, which allows him to give back and work with other shop owners like yourselves. And really the goal is every coach that we have, I think we have 9 coaches now, right? Every coach that we have, their message is very similar. It's, I want to help other shop owners get to the point that I'm at in my career 10 or 15 years earlier than what I got.
Yes.
When I get there, right? And so, that's very powerful. We all live that message. We all believe it. And we're all truly wanting to help other shop owners and really elevate our industry. So speaking of Expo, obviously you got introduced to Repair Shop It Tomorrow. But what did that event really, what did it ultimately do for your guys' business? Just not just Repair Shop It Tomorrow, but just the Expo, in general. What, you mentioned you kind of drank the Kool-Aid, right? But when you guys got back, what did it ultimately help you guys kind of see a little bit differently, maybe than what you looked at before you guys got there?
I think honestly, just the business in general, and it was huge being able to connect with other shop owners there, other Napa Auto Care centers, and just be able to have that open conversation with them. And it was one of those things where you find out, sometimes kind of like parenting, sometimes you feel like you're on the island by yourself, but you're really not. You're all on the island. You just don't necessarily see them every single day. Because, they were all having the same problems or issues or
have had.
Right. And they were across the country, and, some of them that we talked to. And just honestly, for me too, it was everything that Napa actually offers. Because, we were in the day-to-day, we were in the thick of it all the time. And we didn't necessarily always look at everything that we're, paying for with Napa. And that Expo really helped us see the actual.
Yeah, I would say almost narrowed it down, because the scope of everything that Napa offers, it gets overwhelming.
It does, yeah.
And you're like, that would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah. There's so many things. Yeah. You do none of it because you just like shut down. You're like, I can't figure out what is what. And there's 3 things that are the same. I don't even know.
Yeah, and our group, Sannel, was there, which was awesome. So we got to meet them, and then really get that connection with them too, which is huge. Because they're always available. Like it's not like they weren't, but it was just getting that person in person you just can't.
Right.
There's no word for it. There's just nothing better than that. And then they helped us narrow down too, like, oh no, this program's really good for you. This program, so on. And we were able to really do those and utilize those so far.
Yeah. Yep. And I would say, other than Repair Shop, the other biggest takeaway from it was we ended for DVIs, and we ended up going with Auto Vitals.
Yes, that's, oh my gosh.
And the two you can't have one without the other, really, today. You between the coaching and the DVIs. Yeah. And because we kind of messed with it in the past, back when Auto Vitals, I don't know if it was when they first came out, but when we first became an Auto Care, I think it was like 16 or 17 that the old boss had switched over from Bond Auto Group, which was bought up by O'Reilly's a couple years after that. But we switched to Napa then for like a year, and then became an Auto Care. And we had tried Auto Vitals, and it was a pretty young program at the time, and we didn't spend the mental capital on it to learn the system. And it just kind of ended up being a tablet stuck in the bottom of the toolbox to watch YouTube on later. Right. And we didn't take it serious then. Just, nobody wants to see this stuff. Right. It's slowing us down. But we can get more cars done if we don't waste our time with this. We know what we're looking at.
Well, because we were a triage.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I always joke that we were just a triage center.
We were a triage. Yeah. We got everything done as quickly as we could, and it was 2 of them, and it was insane. Yep. But Auto Vital, Auto Vitals.
So the combination of Auto Vitals and RSOT.
Absolutely.
Together. Yeah. And then I don't know where it was, but somewhere during that, if it was something you said or some of the guys said, was focusing on working on the business.
Not in it.
Not in it.
That's Roy.
And taking that mantra forward was huge.
It is it's one of those things. It sounds so silly. Maybe it sounds silly saying it out loud. To me, it doesn't. But it is a very life-changing. It's a very easy thing to say and a very easy thing to think about. But it's life-changing when you actually do it.
Yeah. I mean, again, everybody says it, right? I shouldn't say everybody, but you hear it.
No, but a lot too. Yeah.
You hear it in different industries and things. Sure. You got to work on your business, not in your business. There's a great book. There's tons of them now in the series. I always talk about it, so they should give me some sort of sponsorship. It's called the E Myth, the letter E myth. If you've never read it, right? It's all about becoming a business owner and putting systems, operations, and procedures in place, right? And when you read it, it feels like they're talking directly to you in your business, right? And so it's a great book to read on processes. But the second edition, the E Myth Revisited, it talks about how this lady loves to bake cupcakes, right? She's just, that's what she loves to do, right? So she goes and she opens up a bakery. But what does she do? She stays in the back and just bakes cupcakes.
Because that's what she wants to do. She doesn't want to.
That's what she wants to do. So she doesn't want to own a business. And the same thing in our industry. Around 85% of shop owners start as technicians, which we all know we need technicians, right? 100%. Yeah. But if you're interested in fixing cars, not to sound too harsh, right? But go fix cars, because there's a lot of money to be made in fixing cars.
Oh yeah, right? Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be a business owner, you got to get out of that mindset that I have to be the guy that fixes cars, right?
Correct.
You've got to always surround yourself with people that are smarter and better than you, right? I'm a firm believer in that. Because that allows you to look down on the business and really start implementing these things like DVI, like working with a coaching company. Rory, if you were stuck working 40, 50 hours a week turning wrenches, right? The coaching probably wouldn't have a positive effect on you, because you wouldn't be able to dedicate any time to it.
Right. Absolutely. Oh no, for sure.
No.
And the expo helped us, like, again, connect in person, which for us is huge, with Auto Vitals, and just go, gosh, if we're gonna go all in, because we had just signed up for repair shop, and we moved down the line, and I'm full Kool-Aid mode anyways already, so I'm just like, whatever, what else can we do here? And when we got to that booth, it was just kind of a no-brainer. We're like,
and I know there's other great options. It just happened to be that I don't know if they were closer to your booth than AutoServe or whoever the other ones were.
There was stuff with the show, right? Where there was promos with the show, which again, that's what attracted me. Yep. And then also we were already familiar with them, just because they had already tried it in the past. So we just ended up there. And honestly, those two things were huge game changers for us. And if we had not gone to the expo, we wouldn't have done either, really, if we're being fully honest with ourselves.
I can't believe that we would have.
No, never.
So little T, speaking of expo, right? Everybody's, kind of on the edge of their seats, because, Napa talked about having an expo in 2025.
Yeah.
And so we don't have all the details. They kind of teased it last week. It's not going to be an expo, so to speak. It's going to be called the Now event. So it's going to be the National Owners Workshop. Okay. And it's going to be geared directly to the Napa Auto Care Centers, right? So
I love that.
It's really going to be a business building meeting, right? Not that, the expo was fantastic, right?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But, Napa Auto Care Centers are really the most, I guess I got to be a little careful, the most important customer in the Napa system, right?
I think that's fair. Yeah.
That represents, some of the largest volume as well.
Yep.
And so this is an event for you guys, right? A business building event with training, with seminars. Of course, I'm sure there'll be a little fun mixed in.
I love it.
I don't have all the details. I think they're coming out in the next couple of weeks, but it's April 15th through the 17th in Las Vegas at the Venetian again. And I know the Napa Auto Care team is working really hard to put that together. And I talked with Lauren Briggs from Napa headquarters yesterday, and she told me that they're finalizing all the details now. So
nice.
That's awesome.
So some
had
good
me
stuff
at webinar and
some good stuff to look forward to. All right, so let's fast forward a little bit. So we get back from Expo, right? And I know that working closely with you and with Roy, I kind of know a little bit about some of your story. So one of the first things that you guys went to kind of start to fix on was your effective labor rate, right?
Yep.
And for those of you that are listening that are like, what does that mean? What is that? Right. So your effective labor rate essentially is what you are collecting per billable hour. Right. So everybody's got our posted labor rate. But to me, to Repair Shop Tomorrow, the most important number in your business is that effective labor rate, right? Because that shows you truly what you're collecting. Whatever shop management system you're using may or may not have that listed in a report. If you don't, it's a pretty simple calculation. You just look at the labor dollars that you collected divided by your billed hours, and that gives you your effective labor rate. So talk about where your effective labor rate was when you got back from Expo to where it is today, and ultimately what impact did that have on your business?
It's huge.
Oh God, yeah. And what you got to remember, like when we tell you this number here, nothing was in tracks right. So it's significant. This number is significantly higher than what it actually was in 21.
So I think we just need to say what we know it was. So what? Yeah. Okay. One of the big things we also fixed with Roy's help is making sure that everything was actually being tracked properly and billed properly, so on and so forth. That was one of the big lessons.
Right. Maximizing tracks, not just the
correct
POS for invoices.
Yeah, and Roy was huge on that. But we were really genuinely like high
60,
50s.
Like 58 to $60, something like that. Yeah, effective labor rate.
Yeah, and our door rate was 80.
Yep.
So I mean, it wasn't horrible. We were doing okay. Like it wasn't anything terrible. But we knew it could be better. And talking with Roy, we were like, okay, that could be a lot better. But now, month to date for this year, we're almost at 120.
Wow. Wow. So from 56 to 120.
Yep.
Yeah, we've doubled it.
So for everybody listening, viewing, right? So essentially what that means is for every billable hour that's being produced at Burke View Garage, right, you are now collecting almost $70 more per billable hour, right?
In 2 years.
In 2 years.
Well,
not even 2 years.
Less than 2 years.
Yeah. So when you think about that, right? And do the math, at your shop, right? Figure out what it is. Look at how many billable hours there are. As a goal for us, whatever your posted labor rate is, right? We want that effective labor rate to be within that 5 to 10% range, right? So if you're $100 an hour, we would want your effective labor rate to be around $90, $95 an hour, right? And so, I mean, again, the financial impact on your business, right, is huge. And so I'm going to kind of tease it a little bit because I know a little bit, but, from a staffing standpoint, from a compensation standpoint, from your employees, right, what was being able to fine tune your effective labor rate? How did that kind of trickle down to your employees?
Well, it allows us to have the best we can find, and B, it allows us to pay them an actual solid livable wage, because we're not just employing them. We're also taking care of their families just like they are. And we want to be able to take care of them the best we can. And that's enabled us to do so. Yeah. Big time. We were able to start a bonus program that we never used to be able to do before. The shop has never seen that in the 40 something years it's been here, which is huge. And it's a monthly one we offer now, which is awesome. And they're hitting it every month, which is amazing. And we were able to really genuinely expand the business to utilize the space for what it can be. So we were able to purchase 2 new lifts, one of them a drive-on, which is huge. Brand new AC machines. We can actually take care of air conditioning for the newer cars that everybody's buying. And
honestly, for the employees, though, I mean, $5 to $10 an hour more.
Yeah. And promoting too. Right. So we were able to also not only just pay more an hour and then the bonuses and everything else, offer insurance now. We're offering like a lot more benefits because we can.
Yeah, we got IRA.
Yeah. The 401k that we never used to get to do before. And then, so now instead of just everybody being techs and we were the boss, that's just how it always was. We have a designated service advisor. We have a customer service rep. We have a general manager. We have a head tech. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So I love to hear that, right? Because we go out and we do, myself, a lot of times I'll do presentations and, we'll do business evaluations where we're looking, at the numbers at your shop and showing you, what we could potentially do to help. Right. Mm-hmm. And we always start talking about, the dollars, right, that we can help generate. Yeah. And of course, we start talking about, how do you improve your effective labor rate? We talk about labor matrixing. We talk about efficiency, right? Charging the right amount of money, right? All those things. And at the end of the day, what does that allow you to do, right? As a shop owner, it allows you to maybe live a little bit more comfortably, take back your lives, right? How many shop owners are working 70, 80 hours a week, right?
And honestly.
Burn themselves out, right? But what it
absolutely.
also allows you to do is exactly what you said. And again, we didn't rehearse this, right? So it allows you to invest in the business, right? And that means buying new equipment, right? Utilizing new technology. It allows you to pay your people a great wage so that they can take care of their families. You're providing them a career path so that they want to stay. Benefits, insurance, IRA. I mean,
all of it. It's so cool.
Yeah, you've created a culture and you've created an environment that people are going to want to work in. And, you can't do that unless the business is healthy. Right.
Right. Correct.
You just can't. And again, that's the reality. Right. So you have to be a healthy, profitable business. And I'm not saying putting profit before business and employees, right? I'm a big advocate for doing the right thing, being ethical, right? Taking care of our clients. And as long as we do that, guess what comes, right? A byproduct of doing the right things every single day is that we become more efficient, we become more profitable, and we're able to take care of our team and our customers as well.
Yeah, it allowed us to really genuinely invest in our team like we want to, and invest in our customers too, just because we're allowed, we now can just take such better care of their vehicles because we have the equipment that we really genuinely need, and the new equipment, and the updates that they're always needed, and the trainings that our techs need. It's just, as a whole, it's also created a lot more value with the product that we can offer our customers. It's not just raising prices and raising the rate and raising all the things just to raise them. It's to really show the whole package and the real value behind the service that we offer, which was another thing, again, that Roy really helped us see.
Right. Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
So another thing, I know that you guys focused on a lot when you got back, was improving that workflow in your shop, right?
Yes.
And we talked backstage a little bit before we came on. Right?
Yeah. We talked a lot about that.
and all those things, right? So talk a little bit about what processes did, with Roy, what processes did you guys come up with to kind of manage the chaos a little bit and maybe change the mindset and kind of the flow of your business?
To get out of triage. We're no longer in ER.
Just first of all, just to trust the process.
Yes.
And try it.
Yes.
And to get to the point where you're trying around, like, our goal is 3 hours per invoice, right?
Per labor hours per ticket. Yeah.
Yep. And so there's 3 that actually work on cars all day. So then just
now, there's 3 now.
Right. Yeah. And just
when we started.
Right. Yeah. There was just 2 of us for a long time. That were service advisors, but
you were all
was to just schedule the 3 cars per day per person.
Yes.
So that you can do a good quality inspection.
Yes.
and everything will just fall in place from there.
And trust it.
Right. Just trust it, because you're always going to have the emergency drop-offs, the tow-in jobs.
Correct.
Because all we could think was, we're only scheduling till lunchtime.
Right.
What are we going to do the rest of the day?
It was in honest. We're being honest. Well, Neil, you know us. We're probably honest to a fault. But like, yeah, like me for sure. But like, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
It was like legitimately nauseating thinking about it, because all you see is, you know, a lot of small shops for sure. I think we were just talking about that backstage. Is volume.
Right.
You got to get all the cars in, and if we can't take care of that person right now when they want us to, they're never going to come back. And it's just you're living in like constant fear.
Yeah.
And
they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's just like super fear. So what made the difference too was that Roy he's just wonderful, and he's just very clear, and he, you know, it's like anyone we've met with repair shop and Napa, really, to be honest, they do what they preach, and you can see it. You guys do it. You don't just talk about it, you actually do it. And just having him as the guidance and just be like, listen, I know it's scary. I've done it. Give it time, you know, let's talk, you know, because we talk to him twice a month, you know, next couple of weeks, we'll talk about a little more. Next couple of weeks, we'll talk about a little more, and let's just trust the process here. And I think what made the difference for us and why it's been so successful for us too, isn't just the awesome program we're in that you offer, but we're actually doing it. We actually trusted him and actually did go, okay, all right. Like, you know, I probably didn't sleep a lot the first couple of months, just out of like, nah. And then funny enough, now we're kind of the opposite. I at first was like, we can't raise that rate. We can't do that. Nobody's going to like it. We're going to lose people. Blah, blah, blah. Like, obviously, look, I'm getting uncomfortable even talking about it. And now I'm like, oh, you want to do that? Perfect. Let's go. Like Roy said, it'll work. Let's do it. And we've actually done it.
Right.
And stayed consistent with it.
Right.
And trusted it in him. And it's huge when you can do that. So he helped us get the car count down to a reasonable amount. So we're not, you know, like when tire season comes up here, which is a thing up here in the Northeast.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
twice a year. Yeah. Oh, it's a legit thing. It's
twice a year, 1,200 people need their tires changed.
Right now. Right. It's real quick and right now. And we went from like, we had to like physically prepare ourselves to get to that spot and like, you know, not burn out and freak out and, you know, lose our minds while we're doing it. You would actually physically and mentally prepare for these seasons. And now I think it might be the thing I'm the most proud of. We're just steady. There's no, you know, there's no this anymore with the sales. We know that we're going to be right around a certain amount. And it's
there's no more. July was $140,000 and February was $30,000, and you got to plan for that. Them to I don't know if that was something you want to touch on or not, but the way it just balances out the business.
Right. Because we're not like having to, you know, pay them to clean or like figure out how to get them hours. It's just because we trusted this whole process and we've gotten to the other side of it now fairly quickly, I feel like.
And then once you balance that car count out, when you balance that car count out, and your customers buy in, you're going to lose some along the way. Well, but I think everybody, whoever's listening, wouldn't mind if they lost 10% of some or a certain percentage of their customers.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Just maybe the ones I think that, you know, tend to shop around. It's just people do that. That's the thing. But I think for us, just trusting that process where he went, okay, this is going to help the workflow. Let's get the car count down to this. Try to get the billable hours to this. You're going to be taking better care of your customers, and not just your customers, but your team. Because I think what I was trying to get at, and you know, my long-winded way of doing that was, I'm not worried about them burning out anymore.
No, the stress level. Oh, I mean, it's still stressful.
Right? Because it's a business, but
it's not like I got to get 13 cars done today.
No, we're all like, and we all
myself. Like, how are we going to do that?
Yeah, and we're very lucky. We've aligned ourselves with the right people, and we all get along so well. But now it's like, everybody's laughing and we're joking and no one looks like they haven't slept in 3 days. It's so much better. And on our end, there's not this huge amount of stress because we know the bank account's low because it's a slower period. It's steady now, and we can plan ahead and we can budget and we can go, hey, we can afford that. And
with confidence. Yeah.
Yes. And we got he helped us get also our team in the right spot.
Right.
He helped us see like, okay, maybe so-and-so's not, maybe he shouldn't really be a service advisor. Maybe there's a better route for him,
right,
or blah, blah, blah. And then working again, trusting him, trusting the process. We did it. And now,
right.
I mean,
yeah, taking one mechanic off of the floor. So there's actually one less person right now working on cars.
Which again was panic in the beginning.
Right.
Panic thought. What do you think about it?
Is like on like 30% higher gross sales.
Just because we knew where he could be, put him in the right spot, trusted it, gave it time, and we're like, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Now we're currently in a spot where we really could hire another service advisor. We need to, and another tech, which is bonkers.
And you know, lots of things there, right? Trust in the process, being open to being coached, right? And implementing it. Of course,
that's based.
Scary to change anything, right? That's just a natural reaction that we all have, right? We're going to be a little hesitant there. But Rory, you know, like you said, the stress level of just putting out all these cars, right? I know a lot of technicians. I travel all across the country. I promise you, if you're a shop owner and you're listening to this, go ask your technician if they'd rather work on 8 cars a day or 3 cars a day. Right.
It's pretty simple.
Now, we're not saying 3 oil changes a day, right?
Right. Right. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We're saying, you know, spending 3-4 hours per vehicle, right? 3 hours per vehicle is your guys' goal. That's kind of our goal for Repair Shop of Tomorrow as well. And again, you know, the whole purpose of this, right? I mean, you guys talked about a bunch of great stuff. I mean, getting away from the triage ER, right? Building that value and really building a maintenance program for your clients and for their vehicles. Instead of just being like, my hair's on fire all the time. It's broke. I got to fix it.
Right.
The other thing,
and then your customers don't feel that way too.
Right. The other thing you said is, you know, you may lose 10% of your clients, and I'm here to tell you that's okay. Right.
Yeah. It is. No, it is.
It's hard sometimes to think about it that way. But, you know, I'll get a little philosophical. I can barely even say it, right? So
you're fine.
Everybody's heard of the 80-20 rule, right? So 80% of your business comes from the top 20% of your customers or your clients, right?
Yeah.
But think about it this way. A lot of times 80% of your problems come from your bottom 20% of your clients.
Yeah.
Right.
That is very accurate. Yes.
And so again, maybe we're just not the facility to service your car anymore. Right. It doesn't have to be.
We just might not be the right fit. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have to be very, you don't have to tell them, hey, you're fired. Right. Like, don't come back.
Oh, goodness. No. And we appreciate every bit of business for sure. Absolutely. And if they want to come back in the future, please, like, we'd happily take care of you, but it's just
not all of them.
But now maybe
it's like, nah, not all of them.
No,
Sarah, you're too nice. Look, you're too nice.
And I'm being honest though. It's just now we might just not be the right fit because there are people that time is the most important thing for them, and if they want that quick Jiffy Lube, if that's even still a thing, I'm dating myself here. Quick Lube,
whatever.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I sound old now, but if that's still a thing and that's what they need, cool. Like, go for it. But when you come here, that's not how we're gonna take care of you now. We're going to do a DVI is a digital vehicle inspection. I know we know what that means, but maybe not everybody watching knows what that means.
Right.
So we do a full inspection of the vehicle. It could be here just for an oil change, and that inspection is not charged. That's free of charge. We're going through the whole thing, bumper to bumper. We're taking photos of everything. You're going to get notes of everything. And at the end of it, you're going to get this very nice, pretty report that you can go through. It's very easy to read. Our service advisor will go through it with you. But we're going to help you take care of your car, which is a huge investment for anyone. We just had to buy a new car. It's a huge investment, and you want to genuinely take care of it. And part of the value that we're offering is that we're helping you take care of that really big investment that you just made, that you want to get your money back on. You want your family to be safe in. We want your family to be safe in. You're getting a lot more than just that quick in and out. We got it done for you, and then a month
your noise is gone.
Right.
You know what else is wrong, but that noise is
and
gone.
then 3 weeks later, you have another noise. It's just we're preventing you from having a triage situation in your own vehicle. And we can do that now because we've gotten the car count to where it is, and we've trusted the process. And our guys they're genuinely happy. They're happy to be here. They don't ever look like they don't want to be here. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, look, I know there's some exciting things coming for your guys' shop. I know you guys are pursuing the Napa Gold Auto Care.
Oh, we're going to get gold.
Yeah.
We'll be gold by the end of the year.
That's awesome.
Remind me that later that I said that.
Determination, right? Some other cool things coming for Burke View Garage in the Napa Auto Care Insight magazine, the Q2 issue, which I think is out in May. If you're an auto care owner listening to this, you'll get a copy delivered to your shop, and of course, if you're a Napa store owner, you'll get it as well. Rory and Sarah are one of the featured articles in there, talking a lot about what we're talking about today, and so that's really cool. Really proud to see that for you guys. You definitely deserve the recognition.
Thank you.
We're happy to be just a small part of that journey.
You're a big part, not a small
part.
Big part.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Your coach Roy Foster is the one that deserves the credit.
Oh yeah, so, he's a partner.
He's that big a part.
Yeah, we're
yeah. I just stood up on a stage for 65 minutes and you know
what though, you did your part for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. So look, before we end here, if other shop owners that are listening to this are struggling, and maybe they're trying to decide if Repair Shop of Tomorrow is the right fit for them, what message would you guys give to them?
Do it.
Don't hesitate. Reach out, talk, and sign up.
That's it. End the show right there, right?
Done. Sign off. In all seriousness, do it. Don't hesitate. It's okay to feel scared. You will. And you'll feel scared throughout most of the process too. But it is, again, we're very honest.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows us is watching it is probably like, it is by far the smartest thing business-wise that we have done and probably will ever do.
Right.
It has gotten us to the point where we can say all these cool things, that we've been able to do in a pretty quick period of time. We're now working on our business and not just in it. I hope Roy's watching at some point and is proud when we say that to everybody.
He'll be watching. He'll be watching.
I hope so. Yeah. I will say that to anybody who will listen and until I am blue in the face, because it's priceless. It's
then you sign up, then you get to go to Mastermind, which is a whole nother topic.
That's
way
cool too. You should touch on that. It's Mastermind's awesome. But it has changed our lives incredibly. We, as a mom, one of the reasons why I left the hospitality business is because many reasons, but one of the big reasons is I was missing a lot of stuff. Kid-wise, I was missing, kindergarten graduation that I'll never forget. I met, just stuff like that. And now, because we're where we are, I can leave and pick up my kids whenever they need to be. I can get them to whatever they need to go to. I'm not missing any games.
I get to coach.
He's coaching JV baseball for the high school now that our son's on, which is awesome. And we can leave and do all these things because we follow the process and have the people that we know are in the right spots and can trust them. And we've gotten our profitability to where we can be comfortable enough to do all these things and not miss anything at all. And that's a huge, I don't know if to anyone's listening, if anybody is, if you're a shop owner and you're like, that's not what I have right now and that's what I need. You need that. You need that mentally and physically. And Repair Shop is your way to get there. It honest to God, hands down. It is. It just is. Everyone there, you practice what you preach, and you really do. Which that in this day and age, I don't know, that should not be lost on anyone how important that is, because there's a lot of places that preach and do not practice, and this place does. You do, all the coaches do.
Yeah, we're lucky to work with Roy, but we met, I'm pretty sure, all of the other coaches that
we did, and they're amazing. Like they're all
on the same page.
Yes.
They're all the same message.
And they're all owners, and they all have done it, and they've all gone through the same thing that we have gone through, and they're helping us get to where they are 10 years earlier, which
Amen.
Priceless.
Yeah. Priceless. Well, look, I my message, I guess, out there to anybody that's listening, right? And you touched on it, right? Money is important, right? We always talk about the money side, right? And again, it allows us to do the things that we want to do for our teams, for our customers, for our families. Yeah. But the way I look at it, right? So money is a replenishable resource. Okay. Yeah. I can always add more dollars to your bank account. Right. Right. And that's, I don't want to say it's the easy thing to do. Right. But adding more dollars to your bank
easier, I think. Yeah.
Is easier to do. Right. The one thing I can't do is I can't give you back more time. Right. You can't wake up tomorrow and be 40 years old and say, I want to be 30. Right. So to me, time is the most valuable currency that we all have. Right. Time is finite, unfortunately. Absolutely. Not to get too, biblical or philosophical, right? But we're expiring at some point, right? All of us are, no matter how we want to look at that. And so, if you're a shop owner, right, and you want to take your life back and you want to have time that you can spend with your family, please do us a favor. You see the website here. Go online, visit us at repairshopoftomorrow.com. I'm even crazy enough to throw my cell phone up here.
You are crazy. Yeah.
But
well done.
This is the best way to get a hold of me. We genuinely care about the Repair Shop Tomorrow community. We care about our industry. Of course, our great partners, Napa Auto Care. We couldn't do it without them. And I hope everybody found some value in this. I know just listening to you guys, I mean, the sincereness that you guys have both in your voices and just to hear your story is really cool. And so I want to thank you guys for spending some time with me today and with the listeners and the viewers. And I'm just really excited to see where this journey continues for Burke View Garage. So Sarah, Rory, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
that's listening out there. Thank you again. Please, if you're interested, reach out, repairshopoftomorrow.com. We'd be more than happy to help. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. Thank you.